AI marketing for prompt engineering. And this is one of New Women's Business Center's Women in Technology courses. In this course, I'll do a brief introduction on who I am, my business, as well as an introduction to AI before we get into prompt engineering. And then we'll go into the role of AI in marketing, a hands-on workshop, which I think you would find super beneficial, and we can customize it to your business since you're on the call. It's just us, and then we'll go into a Q&A. This is supposed to be very. I want to create like a relaxed environment, so feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation as well. Um, and I don't think there's any wrong question or any dumb question. So yeah, just feel free if you need clarity on anything to just let me know. Just for awareness, all I can see is my presentation. So just feel free to just say something because I'm not able to physically see you. All right. So to get started, who is Ocean AI? So I'm Kelly Marble. I founded Ocean AI back in 2020. It's a AI consulting and education provider. We deliver AI strategy development, implementation workshops, and consulting specifically for women and small businesses. We provide essential knowledge around AI best practices and fundamentals to really um, center democratizing AI and digital equity. The state of California has the largest amount of small businesses, 4.4 million. Of that 4.4 million, 3.8 are what's considered non-employer, meaning it's a one-man band. One person is owning and operating that company. And then after doing some research, I realized that 1 in 4 small businesses are actually using AI. So that means 75% of small businesses aren't utilizing it for their day-to-day operations, helping with generating revenue and marketing. So AI was born, and it's really to help small businesses and women businesses scale, grow, and flourish. So to get started, I'm going to start on the foundation as if, Stella, this is the first time you're hearing about AI, and we're just building a very firm understanding on what it is. And then we're going to build on top of that. So essentially, AI, when you think about it, it is a computer or machine that produces human-like responses. So we input a prompt, a script, and then it outputs a response that we are seeking, and it should mimic a human response. It understands our language and it recognizes certain patterns. So if we were doing something in statistics, it can give us certain models as well as decision making. So someone who um, it's learning about a certain subject, what is that process on learning? It gives us those type of steps. When we think about AI, you can put it into 3 different categories. So you have AI models, Gen AI, conversations, and integrations. Today, we're actually going to focus on all 3. This is the 3rd course. The first course, we focused just on models and understanding what that is. But because we're doing AI prompting for marketing, it actually requires all 3 of these categories. So AI models, you have ChatGPT 4, which about mostly a large population is familiar with. You have Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, and Claude 3. And these are AI platforms where you go, you ask questions, you can ask it to solve problems, and it's intuitive. It's built on these large language models, which we'll go into more in depth. We'll talk about terminology. So it's going to be very, again, open and foundational. Next, we have generative AI. So like Midjourney, Leonardo AI, and Canva. Midjourney generates art and imagery as well as Leonardo AI. Canva is like graphic design, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but we're going to actually use it today as well. Great, great tool for marketing. And last, we have conversations and integrations. So, like your chat bots, you pretty much see those on like retail and healthcare, anything that's client facing or servicing. You may see chatbot integrations. Zapier, that's a backend platform and tool that connects to applications. A great way to think about it is if you have a website and you want to sell something and become an um, e-commerce store, you can connect like Shopify to your website. And Zapier would help connect those two programs together, or those two applications. Tray.io is very similar to Zapier. They deal with enterprise clients and small clients or small businesses as well. So these are the three categories of AI. And now that we have a firm foundation, models are, contextual. They help. We put in text and it outputs everything from menus to plans to etc. Gen AI, I think of art. It can produce videos, images, um, even suggesting new images for your, if you had a product or service. And then conversation AI is going to be kind of more interactive when you think about the conversation. So think about chatbots, very like script focused and client facing. And then integrations, those are the back end. So think about like your Zapiers, those, it's called like APIs, application platform integration. So you're connecting two programs essentially together. Any questions before we move forward?
No, so far so good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to cover the history of AI just a little bit, just so we know like where we are now and kind of where we've come from, where AI has come from. So AI actually began, in the 1950s. It was the birth of AI. You had Alan Turing. He actually introduced the concept of machine learning, which we will go into what machine learning is a little further down on this slide. But it wasn't until 1956 where AI became an official field at Dartmouth. And so they're like, or Dartmouth, yeah, Dartmouth. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is actually taking off. We're going to make this a field of study and people can actually go into it and expand on it. In the early stages of the AI, they focused on the same things that we're actually focusing on now for early consumers or early adopters who are into AI. So problem solving and Gen AI. Moving on to 1980s, it became a popular field because they had certain systems in place that they started creating. And so more people were adopting AI in that field. So if you knew about artificial intelligence or computer science, that was the field that a lot of folks were getting into. 1990s, you had the internet explosion, and that really helped fueled and pushed AI development. And that's when we start seeing it on certain like movies. And then in 2000, that's when machine learning really took off, and we had like statistical learning methods. I don't know if you heard of like the Monte Carlo method. So it's pretty much like AI helps um, create a model to where if you put in a certain function, it will give you all the possibilities of what could potentially happen. And that was a part of the creation when AI had those breakthroughs in the early 2000s. 2020, we had Gen AI and other forms that began to spud. So while Gen AI was already kind of in those developmental stages back in the 80s and 90s, by the time 2020 hit, that's when we start seeing all these other platforms, like the ones that we had seen previously. Think of like your Canvas or your Sonias, we're going to go over a few more, like your Mid Journeys and et cetera. So some terminology But machine learning, an easy way to just wrap our heads around what that means is machine learning is just the engine that powers the learning process. So it learns these algorithms, which is like a set of defined instructions or rules to solve problems and perform tasks. And once it learns those algorithms, it enables the computer to learn from that data without having to write certain code. So it's almost like scripts, those algorithms. And machine learning just enables the engine or powers the engine for us for the learning process. So machine learning, you can pair it with large language models, which would be what Google would be considered, what Bing would be considered, like these large search engines. And then we have another terminology called natural language processing, NLP, and it enables computers to generate and understand human language. Um, a great way to think about NLPs is in machine learning is using a chatbot. Um, you have scripts within a chatbot, so it has like those algorithms, and then it has natural language processing encoded so that when you text or type, it understands what you're typing and then can produce an output. So now that we understand the history of AI, we can talk a little bit more about um, what industries currently use it, how they use it. So AI application, depending on your industry, I picked out and selected three: healthcare, hospitality, or entertainment. You can use AI for various different things. When you think about healthcare, for diagnosis and treatments, AI has powered systems to analyze medical images. Think of x-rays and MRIs. The advancement from 20 years till now has been exponential due to AI. Drugs and discovery, AI accelerates drug discovery. It identifies potential drug candidates using like molecule, I think it's, let me make sure I'm saying this right. It uses like molec- molecule molecule interactions. So it's able to identify certain molecules from like an atomic level, and then it can help identify like, okay, this candidate has certain elements or ailments, and they're not able to um, absorb this drug, so let's recommend this type of drug. Patient care. A lot of these industries are using chatbots, so anything that's customer facing, you'll probably see chatbots to help. So with the healthcare industry, they use it for triage. Hospitality, AI helps to help with the that personalized experience. Revenue management, forecasting and client projections, customer care, be that bot again. With entertainment, it has AI generated scripts and music and visual content. We're actually going to see a lot of those AI generative tools in the next couple of slides. So we'll go into that in further detail. And then you have VR and AR. We saw a really big push when I'm trying to think of that movie that came out maybe like 20 years. Avatar. When Avatar came out, and I think before Avatar, we kind of seen a little bit of what VR could do with 3D movies and etc. And then if you ever went to an arcade and had any type of goggle wear, same thing with that virtual reality. All right, so now that we have some context with AI application, we are going to go straight into um, prompt engineering. So, what is prompt engineering? It's the art and science of crafting effective scripts. Prompts and scripts can be interchangeable. Outside AI models, the models that we saw in the previous slides, like ChatGPT 4, Copilot, Gemini, etc., especially large language models, which in our case, we can think about like your Google engines and your Bings. If you know about Power BI, it's kind of more of a complex large language model, which is simply a machine learning model but it's on a massive scale. And it's a little bit more complex because it requires large amounts of data. And so that's essentially what it does, larger data sets that it can pull from. And it generates, it's supposed to generate a desired output. So if you ask, let's say ChatGPT, when was when was Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, you would hope it gives the correct birth date, something to that degree. It also involves understanding models' capabilities, um, meaning, like we talked about those three different categories. You had the model category, the Gen AI category, the conversation integration category. So if you were on, let's say, a Chat GPT-4 and you asked it to create an image, well, that model doesn't have that certain capability, so it's not able to produce that image yet. Formulating clear instructions, we'll kind of go in that when we talk about like the key elements of prompting, and then iterative refining prompts. So typically when you first create your prompt, it may give you half of the answer you're seeking. So you might have to refine it, and then it'll give you more information. And that's how you achieve like your optimal result when you're thinking about prompt engineering. And the benefits of it is, if you're doing market research, if you are creating campaigns, if you are trying to understand your maybe a new market, how detailed your prompt is, it'll produce those ultimate results. So some key elements of, this is promo. Let's just look at it and see prompts in our minds. A prompt engineering. The first one is clarity. So the more specific we are, the better result we'll receive or we'll have. When we avoid ambiguity, think about like if you ask a question, write a story of something pretty, or create a headline for a hat, right? Those are very vague prompts that we're asking. And so being really specific can help us get really better results. So if we said something like, create a um, create a storyline of a princess slaying a dragon in East Europe, you might get better results than just creating a storyline of a princess or something. Context. Provide relevant background information, which is also good, especially if you want it specifically for your business. So if you have a business that you just started, however, you have competitors in your market, you might ask it questions pertaining to your competitor to understand, what your competitor value proposition is. How long have they been in business? What is their revenue? How are they having a high retention on customers? So if you can provide that background information, then those questions that you're seeking answers to, you're going to have those better results. Role playing, define the desired AI persona. This is good if you're thinking about creating emails, any type of comms or communication, and you want it in a certain tone. Let's say if you're creating an email for a CEO or an executive leadership team, you might write an email and say, hey, rewrite this email for an executive team at blank company. And you might change it depending on if you're looking for sponsors or funding. You might write and say, hey, rewrite this email for a sponsor who would be willing to support X, Y, and Z. Some constraints, specify limitations or requirements, meaning sometimes you can ask it a very general question, but you're really looking for a more narrowed answer. And an example of that is if you said, hey, what is the market projections for shoes? Really, really random, but it might give me this astronomical number about the sales of shoes. When really I wanted to know what are the market what are the market projections for women who buy high heels, for women who buy high heels who have issues with who have physical issues and live in America, right? Now those projections are a lot more refined and I might get better results that way. And then lastly, we talked about that iterative refinement. So when I had said that last prompt about the woman who might have a physical ailment and wants to wear high heels in the US, I might can say who typically spends roughly $50 or less on heels. And now I'm going to get even better results. And the great thing about these models is that it can pull from the previous prompts and you can continue to ask questions that way. Any questions?
No, so far so good. Very informative. Thank you.
All right, so here goes some effective prompts. And so just to paint a picture, let's say that we are, well, actually, this is where we can actually customize it. Can you tell me a little bit about your business and your company? And we can actually use that as the hands-on workshop and also for these prompts, if you want to. If not, I do have an example.
Yeah, not a problem. I manufacture clothing. I have a design studio in downtown Los Angeles where we produce clothing for many designers here in the US and around the world. I have a design team and we pretty much make collections come to life from concept to an actual garment.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to you on the side, Stella, because I do
Yeah,
AI.
for sure.
So that's a love.
For
That's love.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So I am
So,
a little bit familiar with the AI only because I know that there's a lot of new stuff out there that might help me out.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and we're gonna get to it. We're gonna go over. I have 5 different AI tools that we're gonna cover, and then for our workshop, we're gonna use 3, and we
Okay.
can actually create it for manufacturing clothing.
Okay.
So, for effective prompts, this one says the task would generate an image of individuals at a park. But because we are going to do manufacturing clothing, let's say the task is we want to generate a new clothing line for a customer who loves, um, let's say, who loves the color blue and she wants the clothing line to be a representation of the ocean or something, right? So
Mm-hmm.
our prompt might say, you know, create a clothing line. Oh, and she might want something that's modern, and she gives us like a designer that she is inspired by. Let's say she's inspired by Oscar de la Renta, and so she's like, hey, I want. So our prompt would say something like, create a clothing line um, with create a clothing line inspired by Oscar de la Renta's, you know, fall 2020 collection, involving oceanic themes with various shades of blue. And, maybe the designer wants you to create dresses and skirts that are flowy, like chiffon or silk or something. And so we're asking that prompt in that granularity. So we're getting really granular and really specific with our prompt description, right? And so that's our first prompt. And then the next one, let's say the designer said, I want to have a mood board. Like, show me the mood board. I gave you the ideas. And maybe, you're a manufacturer company, so I'm sure you already have the mood board. You already have the content. You already have the clothes. So maybe yours is, we're going to manufacture these pieces, but then we're going to manufacture them to maybe like a different customer, right? So you might want to generate a social media campaign for your different customers, whether you're manufacturing for high end, low end, or in between. And you might say, like, hey, I want to do this social media campaign. We're launching this new product, whether it's like our new jean line or our new um, velour line to um, to these customers. So I might say something like, create a compelling social media campaign for high end and low end brands who would like um, a, a jean collection for their Gen Z and millennial customers who purchase on average X amount of product or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, a less effective prompt would be, create a fashion line similar to Oscar de la Renta with oceanic themes. And then a least effective, another prompt would be create a social media campaign um, that's denim eccentric for customers, you know? So very kind of like general. It's not giving us too specific. So we're going to get a very general response from that. So now I'm going to flip it and I'm going to ask you, can you share some prompts with me that you would think of or want to see results from?
What I can think of is maybe I think you mentioned that no silhouettes or no actual like drawings could be given to me.
No,
But
you can have
oh,
drawings.
okay, so maybe create many different designs um with the inspiration of a t-shirt, but in many different style lines, something like that. For it to be in the theme of colors in purple, and for them to be able to be with different graphics,
Okay.
something like that. Something like that.
No, that's good. You see, you got to think quick, right?
Yeah.
But that is really good. Okay, so that's the example that we're going to use going forward. All right.
Okay.
So now, is this is right? Okay. So Gen AI for marketing. So here goes 5 different AI tools that you can use in the type of generator they are. So Midjourney generates images from textual description, which means the description that you just gave me, we could put it in Midjourney and it's going to produce those designs, those visual designs for you. And you can actually have it design it in different presets. And a preset could be anything from, if you want it designed as a sketch, if you want it designed as someone with, as a model wearing this clothing, so like commercial, if you want it designed as like for runway, so you can actually see models walking down a runway in these type of pieces. So you have those options. With Midjourney, it doesn't do video just yet. Audio, meaning like if you text Midjourney saying, hey, say this in Marilyn Monroe's voice, it won't do that. And then text would be like using a model like ChatGPT and you're asking it to create a plan or a roadmap. Midjourney doesn't create those. Leonardo AI, we're actually going to be using this one. Amazing. It does the same thing as Midjourney, so we're going to see those great images. We have those presets as well, so you can have it if you want it like a photography, if you want illustration, etc. Videos, it does have videos also. I think that's the paid feature. The free feature doesn't do videos. HeyGen is amazing. It's a platform that generates video in script. It has a free and paid version. So let's say, Stella, that you wanted to create a promo video about your business downtown because you guys are about to do an amazing sale. You can go to HeyGen. you can either use yourself as an avatar, or they have multiple different avatars and they look like humans like you and I. And then you create a script for your avatar and then you put music behind it. You can create like a PowerPoint or a quick little video, and now you have a 30-second promo video. um, Copilot, it's an AI model. um, it assists in generating content from textual description. I love Copilot. It's similar to ChatGPT, similar to Google Gemini and Claude 3. However, Copilot has image generator. So that means you can ask it to create illustrations as well, and it will do it. And last but not least, you have Canva, which is a graphic design platform with AI powered features. So for images, editing, and creating. So we're going to use Canva as well. So our three tools that we're going to use today will be Leonardo AI, Copilot, and Canva. I will say that in my experience, Midjourney and Leonardo are going to give us the best illustrations. Canva is going to give us, it already has kind of like a house of all these different images and assets that we can pull from, and then we're able to make updates to those assets. But if you can actually upload your own assets into Canva, it works a lot better right now, currently. All right. So now we're going to do our hands-on workshop, and we are actually going to pull from the example that you've given me, which is create many different designs with aspirations of a t-shirt with style lines. We're going to use the colors purple and different graphics. So we're going to go into Copilot, and we're going to ask Copilot to create a product launch outline. So we're going to launch this new design, or this new clothing apparel, or this new apparel line, this new graphic apparel line with purple, with color purple. I'm trying to think. Should we give it a name?
Yeah, you just did the color purple.
Okay, color purple. And then after we do that, after we create our product launch outline, we're going to go into Leonardo. We're going to ask it to create 2 or 3 images for us. And typically, depending on the illustration, if we do runway, it can give us up to 3 different looks in one image. Or if we do another illustration like photography, it might just give us one image with one one apparel. So we'll kind of work through that when we get to Leonardo AI. And then lastly, we'll do Canva, and that's going to create the product launch deck. So that means after we have our outline and our images, now we're going to put it in we can say a PowerPoint or a presentation. So if you wanted to show it or shop it around to stores or distributors, you're able to do so in a clean and concise way. All right, so I'm gonna exit here. And all of these tools they all have 2 functions. So you can do the free or you can do the paid subscription. Copilot, I would recommend you have to have an account, but it is free. Leonardo AI, same thing. Canva, same thing. And then once you start using the tools, you can kind of adjust to see if you're wanting to use the paid version or non-paid, depending on your business needs.
Okay.
All right, so now we're going to Copilot. And can you see Copilot at all?
Let me see.
See my screen?
No,
Okay.
I only see you.
You only see me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling me that. Let me see if I can go back to share screen. window in this. All right, let me know if you can see it.
Okay, I can see it now.
All right, it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is Copilot. I want to show you what it looks like if you just go to the website so you can see. All right, can you see it still?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, so as you can see right now, I'm signed in, but when you go to Copilot, this is what you'll see. Right here, you have your prompt box, if you will. You can add an image here, you can speak. But right now, what we're going to do is create that product launch line. So I'm going to ask it to create a product launch outline for my new apparel brand called the Color Purple, which has many different graphics on t-shirts with multiple lines. And then we can even get more granular on this winter of 2024. The timeline launch. Winter of 2024.
Okay.
And then we can even more graphics. Sorry. And we can say product line is for women. Give me an age range.
20 to 50.
20.
Is that too much?
No. Nope, nope. All right. And then we enter. It's creating the product line for us. And I asked it for an outline. So what this is going to do is really just give us high level what we need.
Okay.
And so when we look at Copilot, it gives us like the brand identity and position, the market research, design and graphics, the product line, manufacturing, sourcing, marketing, promotion, and then the launch timeline. Now, I will say if we copy this and let's say, hey, this doesn't give me enough substance. This is too general. Or I'm looking at it now and I'm not really excited about what I'm seeing. There's another AI model that we can use. In fact, there was 4. Do you remember another AI model?
Leonardo AI?
So that was our Gen AI. So
Oh,
another
okay.
AI model, yep. So another AI model we had was Google Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude.
ChatGPT. Yeah.
I would suggest Google Gemini, and the reason why is because it's going to actually give us ChatGPT is good too, but Google Gemini is going to give us a little more meat. So all I did was paste the same thing. By the way, can you still see my screen?
Yeah, I can still see it.
Okay, so to make sure. All right, fantastic. So this is what Gemini looks like. We're in our prompt engine box. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit and see what it gives me. All right. So now kind of sets up the stage for us the product outline, the color purple, has our target audience, it has timeline at the top, gives us this brand development, what we need to define. We talk about those design lines. It talks about develop a diverse design line that appeals to the broad range of the women that we're targeting. So they have like modern minimalism, bold and edgy, vintage inspired, graphic development, eye-catching graphics that align with design. Amazing. Product range is giving us t-shirt styles, crew necks, neck oversized. So it's giving us a lot more substance here. Timeline based on specific needs, of course, but it's telling us what we need to do. So this is a complete sample, complete design line conceptualized by the fall. We need to have testing and refinements done, e-commerce developed. So that means if our website, if our shopping on our website set up, your manufacturing partner, make sure we have those partnerships in place. By the winter, we can do a pre-launch campaign using social media, throwing out teasers. We can do anything from email campaigns with our customers, influence partnerships, so working with influencers, and then content creation. It gave us lookbooks and etc. And then winter is telling us that's going to be official product launch, and then figuring out our customer acquisition and merchant strategy. So once they start buying, how are we going to keep that customer? And then if and then with our sales and marketing efforts, what does that look like? Marketing and launch strategy. It even gives us information here on how to do it. Digital marketing. When we talk about those influence partners, who should we partner with, PR, etc. It gives our KPIs, which is even really great. So if you have like your company now, and you might want to say like, how do we define success? So some ways we can find it is our website traffic. When we do our pre-launch, how many hits are coming to our website, our social media engagement. And these can be, you can have success defined in like primary and secondary because this isn't revenue generating, right? So that might not be a primary focus for you. And then it has continuous improvement, which is pretty much like your back end type of stuff. But now we have our outline for our amazing product, which is going to be the color purple, or for our amazing designs, the color purple. I'm going to go back to the presentation to see what was next, which was, I believe, we're going to create the actual garment. So 2 to 3 images. Now we're going to build on what we have. So I'll go back to Google Gemini. I'm going to copy. Oh no, application memory. Come on. All right. So I'm going to copy some of this brand identity and positioning because I really like this. And then I'm also going to use it to kind of help me flesh out the details of our design. Can you see this new screen?
Yeah. Leonardo AI?
Yes. All right. Fantastic. So this also is a free and paid version. I'll give you a quick, because I feel like you'll probably use this a lot more than maybe Google Gemini and Copilot. So I'll do a quick run through on how you can use this. All right. So, accept all. When you go to Leonardo AI, you want to click on image generation. Once you click on generation, now you have your prompt box at the top, which is amazing. That's what we want to see. See some images that I created back in June. If you look to the left, you see these presets. These presets are essentially how your image will come out. So if you want an anime image, if you want a lifelike image, a stock photo, you can do a preset and set it that way before you add your prompt, and then your image will come out in that preset. I'm going to
Okay.
ask you, what type of preset should we use for our product launch?
Maybe let's do anime. That would be fun.
Okay, so let's see anime. All right, now we selected our preset. I'm gonna exit out. And with this, you can see I'm currently on a free plan, which means if you look straight up right here, you see I have 150 tokens. Once those tokens are out, I can't use Leonardo AI until the next or the following 24 hours. So you get 150 tokens daily. So I'm going to copy and paste from Google Gemini. I don't know if you can see this either, but it's similar to X, where you have like a certain amount of characters that you can use. I
Yeah.
believe this is a new feature. You used to can write paragraphs, but
Yeah.
I guess they're like, oh, you're on the free feature. We're gonna limit what you can write.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So we're here now. So we're gonna say develop a develop a collection around the color purple and its symbolism for woman. How do we like about these word choices of empowerment, creativity, and mystery? Do you want to change that at all? Because that's also going to change the style and look.
That sounds good.
Okay. And then don't really need this as much. But what we can say is include models that are inclusivity or that has inclusivity, individuality, and confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Visual identity says create a strong visual identity that reflects super personality. So I don't think this is needed right here, but what we can include was, I know something that you really wanted was those graphic designs with the style lines. So we want to make sure that we um, state that. So collection showcase, which means we should see more of this. Um, graphic t-shirts with different style lines and people. I do teach I actually teach a fashion in AI class, and so my mind immediately wanted me to ask you, is there a background or how are we setting the scene? Does that matter? Um, do you want it to showcase full body models, or do you just want the t-shirt? Do you want it up close? Do you want it far back? Because you can get really specific. I would say mid journey is probably the best depending on how granular you want.
Mm-hmm.
Midjourney is really good for that. Leonardo AI is a little bit more that, 30,000 foot view or, 10,000 foot view.
Okay.
But if we do want a background, let me know.
Okay.
You want a white background?
Yeah.
Okay. White. I'm just saying with all our. Okay. Let's see if it gets it on the first try or if we have to do some iterations. Um, typically this can take anywhere between 15 seconds up to like 45. Um,
Okay.
but I think you saw my computer, so I don't know if I have enough memory, but we'll see. Okay.
Oh, wow, look at that.
I don't see any white background, but we still love it.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't really see a lot of the shirt either. I see this.
A little bit on the first one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Uh,
do like the color palette and in the model.
you know, awesome. I want to generate it again to see if it's going to produce, because now we have some like inclusivity there. We have some, I did see the mystery. I did see that. Um, let's see what else. I'm just gonna hit it one more time. Okay.
Yeah,
It looks like,
definitely it does show like different style lines. We did ask for that.
mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What do you think about how close the model is versus actually seeing the complete shirt?
Yeah, it doesn't really show. It shows a little bit more of like the style line of what the neckline would be, but not necessarily the whole shirt per se.
Okay.
I feel it's like a little bit too zoomed in.
Yes. All right. So we're going to take that feedback and we're going to update it on our prompt. So when we talked about the style line, different style lines, I'm going to say create a collection around the color purple, wonderful women's empowerment, include models, include full body models. Collection should showcase graphic t-shirts with different style lines and shades of purple. And I don't think it didn't show white background. I don't know if it's because it's an anime thing or not. Do you want to choose another preset or do you want to keep anime?
Maybe we can choose a different one so we can see the difference.
Okay.
Maybe uh cinematic, maybe?
Okay. Let's try cinematic. Now, do you see where it says generate and the tokens of
Yeah.
14?
Yeah.
The anime tokens were 10 and the cinematic, as you can see, is 14. And then
Got
you
it.
can always know how much tokens you have by looking right here. So,
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
hmm and then after we do this one, I kind of want to show you what Mid Journey looks like too, because I really think that might be beneficial for you as well if you have time or if you want to kind of look at the difference between Leonardo and Mid Journey.
Okay. Oh wow, look at that. That I like better.
Isn't
Yeah. Look at all those beautiful women. I like that.
it crazy? Because I took out like the inclusivity piece and I was
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this one's really nice. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Did you want to try another preset or even a new prompt? Or do we feel kind of comfortable with like, all right, I kind of see how to structure my prompts?
Yeah, no, most definitely. Yeah, it shows very good interpretation of what you are asking for it to do. So I like that. And I think that this also helps out a lot, especially on my end when it comes to, when you develop a line and you have to do all of that, the photo shoot and everything in order for you to put it up on a website or anything like that, or just gives you a different way of creating things without having to actually make a garment for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
I like that.
okay. Perfect. 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 So we can go back to the workshop. And before to present. Can you see it? Can you see the presentation?
I only see, no, it's blurry. It says click to exit full screen.
Okay. Let's see.
I could see it now.
You can see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. What about when I hit present?
No, it's back to the blurry.
Okay.
Click
Well,
to exit full screen.
we're gonna keep it here then.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
All right. All right. So the next thing that I really like to tell everyone who takes any of my workshops is just the risk of AI. So should you use AI for your business? And so I have like three um, kind of like categories that helps like evaluate if you should use it. One is like the AI risk and safety. Um, from a revenue perspective, would AI help? And then automation as well. Could it help with automation? But when we think about AI risk and safety, so those images that we generated, right? A lot of times, these generative AI tools they scrub the internet to pull these images and kind of mix them together. And so there is a current federal suit happening about intellectual property and ownership. Right now, AI is looked at as like the wild, wild west. So a lot of people are trying to copyright their digital footprint, their digital assets. They're trying to, have their IP protected. And there's just not any set policy or any federal policy that says, hey, this is the way you go about doing that. So when we think about AI risk, um, the risk of copyright infringement is a real thing, meaning, let's say, if you use Leonardo or Midjourney and this beautiful, lifelike woman comes up and you use her for one of your campaigns, and then come to find out that woman was a real person, things like that. Third party right is using someone's likeness, voice, and image. There was a company that actually got their story copyrighted using AI. So technically, they were the first company to copyright their AI asset. However, it was overturned, and they were only able to copyright the script or the content. What they decided to do was create a story, and then they used the image of Zendaya in the story. And so, because they had her image, they weren't able to copyright the entirety of that story. They can only copyright the content, the textual part. So, using any third party, you would want to get licensing before you use their voice, pictures, etc. And then revenue and optimization. This is it's not as applicable. This is more so for the AI course that I taught back in June, but I can just briefly go through it. So revenue is really great to use AI to with research and development. You can use it for chatbots and also to craft messaging and assets like we saw when we did our product launch outline. And then optimization, it helped us with those product launches, social media calendars, And then it's really good with like analysis too. So Claude 3 does really good comparisons. So if you're trying to think about a sustainability line and you want to know what is the most profitable um, materials that you can use or the most sustainable materials with the lowest profit margin, it can do like comparison analysis for you. So now you can source sustainable um, textures or textiles, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
All right. And so it was a smaller class, but that's amazing, one on one. It says questions here, but um, I did want to show you this AI presentation just for a second, just to see if there are things that could be helpful to you. Because I actually teach the class. So when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, so crazy. Um, but yes, so we use Gemini. So for AI fashion, ChatGPT and Gemini are the best to use. And Midjourney would be the first choice, and then Leonardo. Yep. And if you can see some of these designs, these were produced in Leonardo that I produced. So
Oh,
very.
that's nice.
Then I have like the disability woman right there. Um, and then to the right, it kind of shows you like the different steps, like the 5 elements when you're thinking about creating your designs and then how to do so. So I can actually send you this deck along with, and the last one is like these risk of using AI. So when you are incorporating it more into your business, just some things to keep top of mind, especially if you're thinking about your international distributors or manufacturers.
Got it. Yeah, that would be good. Thank you.
I will send that to you. And then the last thing I had was just to give a brief update or announcement, rather. Um, it is about our next class. Not sure if it's relevant or not, but the next course will be next Wednesday, and it's how to create marketing strategy for your business. And so I will be incorporating AI into it as well. And we're going to be building on some of the other courses, which was we did a marketing launch pad last Wednesday, went over digital marketing tools. In the previous class, we went over AI models. So everything's just kind of building on top of each other. So last Wednesday, we actually used the entire 2 hours. This Wednesday looks like we don't need to, which is great. But if you want to, we can either go through more examples, do more prompting. If you want to see a difference between Midjourney and Leonardo, we can do that as well. So I just want to open the floor uh, to any
I
questions.
I do have a question for you. Is it normal or is it just the fact of how new AI is that whenever you do put like a text, like I noticed when we put like purple,
Mhm.
in front of the shirt, it really didn't say purple. It was
Yes.
like it has just different wording.
Hmm.
Is that normal? Is that something that they have to work on?
No, it is like even if you like had your company name, for instance, and I think they do that for that copyright piece because
Oh,
let's say if they did create it, that means they would be liable. Um,
got it.
however, I have created concepts for Puma and Nike, and they would use like Puma and Nike. So I don't know if it's not trademarked or if it's not public domain. Maybe
Hmm.
certain elements are public domain, so they're able to pick that up and incorporate it into those images.
Yeah,
Um, but what I have seen is that if you do have general names or titles, that it does kind of mashes it up a little bit and makes it a little bit ineligible.
got it. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that was I was just curious about that. So I did notice that.
Yes, 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 yes. All right. Well, I will. Did the screen stop sharing? I stop sharing.
Yeah, I think I see it in the background.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, but that's amazing though. This was very informative, and I'm most definitely gonna go once I get home, I can go and play around with each and every one of these prompts to see what I can create with it.
Yes, I look forward to seeing your creation, Stella. And I would love to stay in touch as well. Um,
Yes, please do. Let
yeah,
me see. I'll go to the chat and then I'll drop in my telephone number and my email address. So in case you ever have like any questions when it comes to producing a line or anything, or just to stay in touch and brainstorm on things, please feel free to contact me.
yeah. Well, actually, I was actually going to reach out to a hotel that I recently stayed at
Uh-huh.
in Woodland Hills. Their hotel is actually the decor is runway, like the theme.
Uh-huh.
And because I do AI fashion and I have certain pieces, I was actually going to see if I could do a AI fashion show there. And so you're like, oh, I actually do manufacturing. And I was like, wait a minute, this is
Yeah, I'm
this,
actually in my studio. If you wanna, I can show you around so you could
yeah.
see. Where are
I
you
was thinking,
located at?
so I'm currently in Westwood.
Ah, okay. So you're in the west side. Yeah, well, I'm in downtown.
Okay.
So I don't know if you could see it, but this is pretty much what we do. I'm currently working on a blank line, and
Mhm.
it's for a customer in Canada. So
Oh,
we're
nice.
doing blank pieces, but it's very, very heavy fabric. So the
Okay.
fabrications are like 22 ounce, 25 ounce. And then we have our cutting table here. I have a library of styles of what we've done in the past. There's a current customer that I'm working out of Canada that is doing like a lot of like bling bling stuff with wool.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing this jacket. Eventually, this jacket is gonna be in leather. And
Oh,
then a lot of lines that I'm putting together, some things that are for like what the Dodgers are doing and some things for Lakers. I also have a personal line that I'm creating for a pet line, like a mommy, daddy, and me.
oh.
And then I have done a lot of pieces that are in silk. So
Oh,
a
I
lot of
love
like
that.
silk
Yeah.
pieces. And then more blank stuff of different style lines of t-shirts. We've done things for men, women, some of the inspiration from Balenciaga. We've done jumpsuits in leather,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we're in downtown. Actually, you can actually, I don't know if you could see it, but there's downtown, and we're like right central on Olympic and Central, and I'm working on creating kind of like a pop-up shop. So I have
Oh,
a lot of inventory that I have from like kids clothing to golf clothing, and I'm pretty much in the near future I'm going to open up my space so people can come and shop and kind of like be creative in their own way to do what I'm calling healing arts. So
oh.
kind of like a sip and paint, but this is going to be more like sip and utilize the scraps, and they can either do it like on a silhouette, like let's say they want to do a butterfly, and then they put like a lot of swatches of fabric and mend their own butterfly, and eventually they can either take that with them, or if they want to pick from one of the styles. I'm actually want to use AI to create a digital library of all of the styles that I have. If you see all of the patterns here,
Uh-huh.
so all of these patterns are from many different designs that I've done in the past, like shirts and pants and you know um, capes and all that. So I want to create a digital library where eventually somebody can come and say, you know what, I like this fabric. with this body in this color, give me 100, and that's what I want. So,
I
and
see.
then I
Yeah.
have different books, so different fabrications that you can choose from. And then I have swatches on swatches. So things like this. This is a perfect example. So something like that,
Hmm.
that they can just create and make their own, or they can just draw their own design.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So,
just, things that I'm putting together, thinking outside the box, and just seeing what else I can utilize this space for.
okay. I'm gonna tell you now, I think you might. So with AI, you can actually create your own what's considered a LLM. I think in your case it would be like machine learning. So you'll have your directory of all your designs. And then like you said, people can come in and say, hey, I love, this outline, and do you have this fabric with this color? And then is it one of those things where it's they order online, or they come in and they say, hey, I I saw that you had this template and you have this fabric and I want to put them together. Like what's
Yeah, I that's what I'm thinking about doing. Some of the styles like will be good for them to just pick their fabric and go. And some of the styles will have to be where we have to make one rendition so they can try it just to make sure, because every style and every fabric reacts differently. You can
Mhm.
have one t-shirt and do it in three different fabrics, and the t-shirt is gonna look different in every single fabric because
Mm.
every fabric reacts different. And believe it or not, t-shirts are one of the hardest things to do only because they just react so different. You know what I mean? It might be pulling here, it might be drapey here. But my idea is just, to kind of navigate the business into making it as more sustainable as it could be. In We like to use sustainability in fashion, but there's no way that we can be 100% sustainable in fashion. Even if we wanted to, there's still a lot of things that we have to implement in order for that to happen. But like for instance, I like to save the scraps whenever I'm cutting something and we have
That's called
um ex-
upcycling. Yeah.
yeah, extra yardage, and create like headbands or like little masks for your eyes.
Bella, I'm not gonna lie. That's actually a great bit. Headbands with the scraps, like the
Yeah,
art piece. That chef's kiss. Chef's
yeah,
kiss.
yeah. So, that's what I'm creating. The only thing is that, see, we've always been, I mean, my husband has been in business for more than 30 years. He's been a domestic manufacturer for that long. I was always in corporate America, and not until 4 or 5 years I joined forces with him. But right when I joined forces with him, the pandemic hit. So
Oh,
we're kind of like being navigating and navigating. But finally, maybe like a month ago, we moved into this new studio that I have windows and I love it. You know what I mean? So
it was so nice.
I'm really just trying to rethink outside the box and just really recreating things, since we've always had the business and it's always been word of mouth. And
Mhm.
just, this customer, this client will lead us to another client, and that's how it's been. But now I feel that in order for us to grow, the only way is to do online and really to promote ourselves. And we don't have, I mean, we're in a factory all day. I don't have the capability of getting the website and making sure everything that entitles when it comes to that. So not until that, now I'm really like, okay, I need to take some time to learn, uh, give myself crash courses when it comes to everything that is available in AI, and what is it that I can do, because also, money wise it's tight, and anything that you do to grow, you have to have the investment in order to do it. But I feel that it's also giving me the time to really just learn myself and see exactly what's going to work for me.
Mhm.
And what platform am I really going to be thinking of doing in order for the platform to really work with what I have in my head as the idea of how I'm going to move forward.
No, that makes multiple sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have a lot happening, pop-up shop to the digital library to learning new skills. So would love to stay connected, and I'll make sure to shoot you an email and just keep you updated on the fashion show and anything that comes out of that. But yes, I hope this was beneficial. I'll send you the deck, the AI fashion deck, so you'll have that. And then if you do have any more questions, just let me know. Feel free to reach out.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much for taking the time, and I really appreciate your chat. And most definitely, more than likely, I'll see you next week.
All right, sounds good. Take care,
Take
Stella.
care. Bye.
That's amazing.